Hello and welcome to another episode of Nonsense Review. I am your host, Devon, once more, as always, joined by Rick.
Hello?
Yes. And you may be wondering to yourselves, hang on, today's not Monday. What are we doing, Rick?
Today we are doing Nonsense Extra. We're doing extra episodes for extra credit, simply because The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is coming out, and that's the show that we're going to be reviewing for the next 10 weeks on the mainline reviews. So we thought, what if people don't want to see that and only that? So we're doing a little bit of extra credit.
That's a pretty good description, although the review title will still be called Nonsense Review, because I'm not messing with that shit. It would require a new logo. Well, not quite. But yes, obviously, because this is bonus content and will be coming out intermittently, we won't be describing our weeks. That will be for the main podcast. But we've decided to introduce a bit of a new section.
Yep, this time we're starting with the Nonsense Hypotheticals.
That's what we've decided to name it, although it's a bit less hypothetical and more just asinine questions.
Yeah.
Yes, the section is going to be quite self-explanatory, so I'm not going to bother explaining it. Rick, favourite VTuber, go.
Favourite VTuber? Probably Callie.
Probably Callie.
I mean, it's gotta be Callie. Like, the amount of effort she puts into making people smile, that alone makes me smile.
That's fair. Bit of a tangent with VTubers. I was speaking to, I think you're actually part of the conversation with our former guildmate in FF14.
Yeah, he didn't know that they were called VTubers.
Yeah, and then I said Gura, and he went, oh yeah, I know Gura. And it's like, well, that's what a VTuber is.
Yep. But Gura's the only one that he listens to, so...
Which is fair. Gura is very cute.
She is, and she was the first one to hit 1 million, and then the first one to hit 2 million.
Which VTuber would you most like to give a pat on the head?
Probably Coco.
Coco?
Like, as much as she needs as much as she puts forward this, like, strong persona, she's probably the one that most needs a hug sometimes.
But it's head pat time, not hug time.
Yeah.
I'd give Ina all the head pats.
If we change it to Brofist, then it's Ollie.
Ollie's in a weird place for me.
Well, she's the little sister type, and she enforces that.
Yeah, I don't like little sisters. Rick, you're an only child, if I remember rightly.
I am.
Yeah, cool. You don't get it.
Yeah, I'm allowed to have the little sister and the older sister thing. Like, the one I never get is MILFs, because I have a mum.
Oh, but you see, I'm going to abandon this topic, because we're going to get into dangerous territory. But yes, Rick, have you got a question?
My question for you is, what is your favourite game that no one remembers?
My favourite game that no one remembers? Okay, I'm going to go slightly obscure. Well, very obscure for me. There was a game on the PlayStation 2, or a game series that got quickly abandoned by Koei, called Dynasty Tactics.
Oh, okay.
Which was a weird mix of Dynasty Warriors and their turn-based strategy games. Like, it wasn't one or the other. In fact, it was turn-based tactics, but it had the aesthetic of the Warriors franchise to a certain degree.
Sure.
But very specifically Dynasty Tactics 2, because 1 was a trash fire and 3 was weird. I don't think 3 came out actually in the West. Or I might be making it up entirely. But yeah. It also introduced Lu Ling Kui, which is the fictional daughter of Lu Bu.
Okay.
Yeah, that did things.
But yeah, like, releasing the second one and not the third is a general thing that happened in the PlayStation 2 generation, so I can see that having happened, even if you might have, imagined the third game.
I think I'm getting it confused with Kessen, actually. I think Dynasty Tactics only has a 1 and 2, and Kessen has 3, but Kessen's weird because one of the Kessens is based on 3 Kingdoms, when the other 2 are based on the Rise and Fall of Nobunaga. So
right,
it's weird because they're kind of the same, but not.
Yeah, separated by a little bit of sea.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to throw the question back at you though, because I'm interested to hear your answer for this.
Mine's probably going to be TIE Fighter.
That's Star Wars, yeah?
Yeah, some people might remember it, but for most people, it's going to be before their time, because this came out back when the standard platform for PC gaming was MS-DOS.
Well, here's the thing is, I bet you there's some people who have fond memories of it nowadays, because that game crops up in about 1 billion different Humble Bundles.
But half the time it doesn't even work. Like, I've got it on Steam, I think, and good luck getting it to work, because it was made for, like, I think the last thing it definitely worked on was Windows 98.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, they had a DOS shell for Windows 98 that was pretty much native to Windows. And it was just running DOS. And then they released an updated version, which is the one that I got, which was TIE Fighter CD, which had both DLCs, which were physical expansion packs that you had to buy another floppy disk for. Because the original game ended with 2 missions where you flew alongside Darth Vader to rescue the Emperor, which is the most TIE Fighter thing you can possibly think think of.
Also something they did in literally Star Wars Episode 3.
Yeah, but yeah. Like, this was like 15 years before that, though, so...
So what you're saying is someone else came up with the idea and George Lucas fucking stole it.
There's so much Star Wars fan fiction that it's impossible not to steal something from it.
I suppose. I'm not bitter.
I could look around a corner and see upwards of 30 Star Wars fan fiction books. Like, I know I have at least 40.
But because it's been published, it's no longer fan fiction. Although I suppose it is because they decannoned all of it, didn't they?
Yeah, it was originally fan fiction, and then it became official fan fiction, and now it's back to fan fiction again.
Yeah. Who do we have to blame for that?
Yen Sid.
I thought I was going to say more specifically Kathleen Kennedy, but I don't even know if that was her decision or not.
Probably wasn't even her decision. She might have sat in on the board meeting where they decided it.
I feel a bit sorry for her because she's the face, and I got to imagine that there's a bulk of decisions that aren't actually hers, but she's the messenger.
She's getting thrown at full force under the bus.
Yeah, although I don't think there's any excuse for 7, 8 and 9.
I mean, money, dear boy.
Well, I didn't chuck any money at it, so I've got a clear conscience. Unless you count my Disney Plus sub, in which case, I guess technically, but I don't count it because I've not watched it via that.
I suppose that's the reason rather than the excuse.
Anyway, lamenting Star Wars aside, do you want to tell the good listeners what we're doing today?
Today, we are reviewing one of the most 90s things that I could possibly think of and or find, the Dumb and Dumber cartoon.
Okay, so real talk, behind the scenes here, we scrambled a bit today. And this is what we decided to do, and as soon as Rick brought it up, I was like, that's a terrible idea, let's do it.
Yep, pretty much, in almost as many words.
I'm not a fan of Dumb and Dumber the movies, so I imagine the cartoon won't be much better.
Yeah, it's not even going to have the real Jim Carrey, I don't think, but we'll find out.
Keeping my fingers crossed that my internet connection is going to be stable enough to actually play this.
I remember The Mask had a cartoon that was a little bit better received.
That was great, because the cartoon came out before the film.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, people who aren't listening, but I'm 95% sure that that cartoon existed before the film.
Maybe. You might be thinking of Freakazoid.
Freakazoid is a different beast. And I'll tell you why I think this, because the cartoon design for Stanley Ipkiss looks nothing like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which makes me double down on on my memory that it came out first.
True enough.
But yes, would you like to count us down, Rick?
Alrighty, so we're starting in 3, 2, 1, and go! Man, I can't even remember which one's Harry and which one's Lloyd. I'm sure it'll get introduced to us.
The one on the right is Jim Carrey's character. That's all I know.
Yeah, because it looks like a caricature of Jim Carrey. As it should, from an animated show.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to impress the pretty walking blonde with different types of music.
It looks more like different styles of dance than music.
Well, okay, the first 2 times they had guitar and instrument.
Okay, fair.
Oh, standard slapstick.
I quite like slapstick, but I like it more in proper media than cartoons.
Yeah?
Proper media. Oh, God, kill me. That's... What's the deal with the beaver? Is that a joke from the film?
I don't think so. I think that's the running joke of the show.
Oh, they're chasing beaver. There we go. That's the gag, I suppose.
Yep.
I vaguely remember the van looking like a dog from the film, so that's...
Yeah, so I remember they traded in the van for a bike at the end.
Okay.
Because the bike got something like 700 miles to the gallon.
Shut up.
Something stupid like that, anyway. But the idea was that they could get all the way to Aspen with the bike. And one of them peed on the other and they got stuck to each other because it was cold.
Great, cool, awesome. I hate it. It's not my style of humour, like, and I know that's a silly thing to say because I'm quite a childish person, but it's He looks kind of like a lankier, stretched out version of Manduck.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, he does.
Oh, kazoos, get Callie in this bitch.
Oh yeah, Callie's got a new kazoo.
That sounds like a euphemism.
Yeah, but it was it had a graphic made by one of her one of her staff members / superfans. And it matches her costume.
Did she share a picture of it then?
Yeah, I'll send you it over the media. I'll send you a picture.
That is a disgusting looking sandwich.
It is not a nice looking sandwich.
But I don't like fishy sandwiches anyway.
I used to like fish. I no longer like fish.
Let's not go into that story, Rick. I've got a level with you guys. I don't know what's going on with the plot because I've just been having fun talking to my buddy because I feel like that's the only way I'm going to get through this 20 minutes.
So what I've picked up so far is that they think it's a cat.
They think the beaver's a cat.
Yeah.
So the joke isn't that they're chasing beaver.
I mean, they're chasing beaver, but they're calling it chasing pussy.
Ah! Yeah, fair enough. That sounded a lot like Ernie.
Did sound like Ernie.
Alright, so it can't actually be Paris, right? It must be like a gag city in the States.
Yeah, most likely. I think the car is called Otto because it's automobile.
I hate it. I like how it's the most romantic city in the world, and yet he still ended up with a blow-up doll.
Yeah. And he's popped her already.
Should I get the puncture repair kit, sir? The license plate also says Otto.
Yeah. Standard cartoony things to come out of the back of a van?
I'll be absolutely honest with you, I bet you that's a reference to the films.
Maybe so.
Oh, sorry, film at this point, because Dumb and Dumber 2 only came out like 2 years ago, didn't it?
Maybe a little bit longer than that, seeing as we've had a year in limbo.
Yeah, time has become weird.
Yeah.
If I wasn't still working, I'd actually lose track of days.
Yeah. Like, the only reason I keep track of days is because I have certain things happening on certain days.
I get you.
And normally it's D&D.
Yeah, you do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people who are just listening, and I don't know why you just listen and not line up the episode, he's just pulled down a list of a bunch of vans, automobiles. I think it's a van. It's got to be a van, right?
Yeah, it's a van.
Looking like different animals.
Yep, a list of animal vans, which apparently is collecting or something.
Well, here's a billionaire Texas oil tycoon who's just got eaten by a fish.
Oh. And he's put the digestion on hold.
Fuck off!
The 1984 Mutt van.
So, in the universe of Dumb and Dumber, there are just lines of vans that have been made to look like animals, and they've been dished out and sold. I assume there's not just one made of every single one. That would be even more ridiculous.
As far as I'm aware, they actually converted their own van to look like a dog to suit them having a dog grooming service.
You see, that's what I would have... I assume they actually stole it off of someone who had a dog grooming business.
Well... half a ton of soap suds.
Not the worst thing in the world to be dumped in.
He looks like Mayor Dewey.
What, from Steven?
Yeah, the mayor from Steven Universe.
I don't think so.
I mean, the perpetually red skin and, okay, he's a bit angrier than Mayor Dewey.
Dempsey Dumpster, so his superpowers are he can dumpster dive and he knows the Dempsey roll, the most powerful of boxing maneuvers, as us Ippo fans know.
Just make a figure of 8 with the top half of your body, and then sucker punch.
Dude, there's a fucking episode, if I remember rightly, where he gets told, if you do the Dempsey roll, Ippo, you will literally die. And then he does it anyway. Our mutual friend, Rick, said that the original series of Ippo is finally coming to Crunchyroll.
Okay.
Yeah, he said, hey, do you want to marathon that? And I was like, okay, don't take this the wrong way, but I've seen that. I've seen it. I enjoyed it. I do not want to watch the whole thing in a row again, but with added commentary.
Yep.
It's what I have. It's why I have a problem marathoning content with people.
Yeah.
Usually they've seen the thing and they're introducing me to it, and then they talk over the fucking thing, which is fine for them. They know everything that happens.
When you're marathoning something on your own, it's normally on Netflix, and it's normally in bed when you're having a pajama day.
Here's the sad thing, Rick. I can't just lie in my bed because my mattress is like a stone.
Okay.
Yeah. Get a new mattress. They're fucking expensive.
Yeah, they are. And you have to get it up like 17 flights of stairs.
2 at least in my case, but yeah. Also, we've got double banisters because we have someone with mobility issues in the house, so it makes it even more annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The reason this one wasn't too bad, and yeah, I am talking about my mattress, motherfuckers, because fuck this show. The good thing about this mattress is I got it off of Groupon, and it came rolled in a box, so I didn't have to fucking struggle with it up the stairs.
Otto had some cheap gas, apparently.
That makes sense. Sure, fuck it. Gotta say something, haven't we, Rick? What was I gonna say? Yeah, so far the plot, because I was paying vague attention, is the Texan guy who wants the car yelled angrily that if he can't have the car, no one can. So I assume we're gonna get wacky hijinks.
Yeah, because everything is for sale for the right price. And even when it's scrap, it can be repaired.
True. Dude, that's, let's go into a tangent with wrestling. Old school wrestler called the $1 Million Man, that was straight up his gimmick.
Huh.
Dude, some of his vignettes were great. He'd bring audience members into the ring and say, if you can do this, I will give you $1,000. And he got a little kid into the ring, and he said, dribble this ball 10 times, and it was a basketball, and he got to number 9, and he kicks the basketball away from him before he can do it the 10th time.
Oh,
proper
boy.
Fucking old school heel bullshit. It was great.
Power move.
He also had a manservant called Virgil, which had slight racial undertones.
Well, now.
Yeah. Can you guess what the colour of Virgil's skin was?
Yeah,
don't worry about it. It was fucked.
So he's stolen her jacket to put it in the mud so she doesn't have to walk on the mud.
Yeah.
Because he's seen it in cartoons.
Fair enough.
More money. For you, he'd make an exception of more money.
So does he think he's in Paris right now?
I think so.
I do appreciate the joke of mixing basic Spanish with basic French and thinking you're speaking French. That's quite funny.
Yep. Cup of steam.
That would be annoying.
Yeah.
I love it. Bonjour, mi amigos.
Yep.
They probably hate him because he's speaking Spanish, so they think he's Mexican.
Yep.
Sorry, Texans, but we know you don't like Mexico.
Three birds and change.
I do not like how they draw baby cartoon birds, ever. It's always horrifying.
Baby birds themselves just tend not to look very good.
I don't know if you know this about me, Rick, but my dad, when I was younger, used to hand rear parrots.
Okay.
So I've had my fair share of dealing with disgusting, horrible baby bird creatures. They don't look as bad as they just looked then in the cartoon.
Yeah.
They did stink though.
I'm guessing a lot of them look like the bird creatures from Ashes of Ariandel.
They don't look quite as ragged, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where yeah, I'm going on another tangent. Fuck you. To that one guy who watches. I'm sorry. I'm angry that we're watching this cartoon. He actually used to syringe feed them as babies because obviously they didn't have their parents regurgitate crap into their mouths.
Yeah.
And it was $50. Fuck that. I got sidetracked. What was my train of thought?
Syringe feeding baby birds.
Right. Yeah. Cool. There was this little handmade mix that you'd make to feed them, and that shit smelt fucking vile.
Yep.
It was just
Can imagine.
Just corn and wheat, but mush, and it was horrid.
I'm assuming with a bit of bug meal in there as well.
Maybe. I mean, they're parrots. It would probably be fruit more than bugs.
Okay.
But parrots don't tend to eat bugs.
Fair. That's where you show your advantage in knowledge over what I know about birds.
Birds. What's the fucking YouTuber who's got the bird and everyone takes the piss out of it? Jontron. I like his bird. His bird's cute.
Yeah, Jacques. Because it's a robot and it's basically his second character.
Oh, I didn't realise it weren't real.
Okay, so the bird itself is real, but in the videos it's a robot.
Okay, I follow now. Sorry. When you said it was a robot, I thought it was just entirely fake then.
No, it's a real bird.
Okay.
And like sometimes you even see the outtakes where he goes, "Sorry, Jacques just shit on my shoulder."
Birds do that.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, I've seen documentaries of like hoarders, where they've got a whole room where their parakeets and budgies just fly around, but they got 200 of the fucking things, and the room's just covered in shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, how, like, I know this is a room that you've put aside just for your little parrots, but how do you live with a room covered in bird shit?
Yeah, this is a room dedicated to shit. Reminds me of that puffin penguin, and it's the dedicated penguin for shitting on.
It just reminded me of like a 5-second long clip of two owls standing on a roof. Have you seen this?
Is this where both of them turn away from the one in the middle and shit on the one in the middle?
No, because there's only two of them. One of them's slightly higher up the roof. It takes a shit, it dribbles down the roof to the other one, it barely touches the other owl's foot, and it just bristles up, looks at the person filming as if to say, "What the fuck?" and then looks at the other bird, and the other bird flies off. This is more interesting than Dumb and Dumber the cartoon.
I mean, talk about turd is always more interesting than most cartoons.
No, Steven Universe is pretty good.
It is. It really is. Especially the cherry-picked episodes that we picked.
That's true. I have no doubt that it's got its fair share of duds, as most cartoons do, but like we're not even in season 2 where it's got its footing.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still in season 1, which is like twice as long as the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
How long is a piece of string? That long.
At least in the cartoon versions, dude who is not Jim Carrey is definitely better looking.
Yeah, he is.
Because his face looks like a real... Well, looks more like a real face.
Yeah, now he looks like a generic villain who's just been given a smile.
Yeah... Imagine giving a novelty check for $50.
I know, right?
I'm legitimately surprised he didn't turn into Yosemite Sam and start firing pistols wildly.
Maybe because they had a moratorium on pistol use.
Maybe. The Awful Tower, fuck's sake. I'm actually going to Google it. I'm going to Google what the rating was for Dumb and Dumber, because I imagine it's PG, but it might not be. It might be a 12.
I think it might have been a 12. It might have been one of those first movies that me and my mate, when we were 8, got into as 12s.
Right. Dumb and Dumber was released in 1994, and it is in fact a 12.
Yeah. So I would have been 8 or 9.
In fact, if I remember rightly, the sort of villain, but not really, that joins him for a long period of time has at least a weapon of some kind at some point.
Yeah, I think he's got a gun, or at least a knife. This is the guy that they nearly kill with. They do kill him. They kill him with rat poison.
Oh.
He's got some pills, and he's having a seizure. He's begging for his pills, and they give him rat poison, which is the rat poison that he also had in his pocket to poison them with.
It's one of those film logics of you're allowed to kill off the villain if it's by his own doing.
Yeah.
But it's still like, that's fucked up.
Totally is. Oh, a Tbone Steak.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Tbone Steak is the best gag so far.
I don't know, that one was actually quite strong. I kind of like that. I'll be a gorilla's nephew, fucking up the saying like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent. I think, going on a tangent now, the most gruesome and graphic version of you're allowed to kill off the villain if it's by its own doings is the Disney Tarzan movie.
So that's one of the few Disney movies I've not actually seen.
Okay, it's fucked up. He's fighting the main villain at the end. Spoilers, sorry. And they're all up in the vines. And the main villain gets tangled up in the vines because guess what? Tarzan's good at that shit.
Yeah.
The villain takes out his machete and starts cutting the vines that have tangled him up. And Tarzan goes, "No, Clayton, stop." And then he cuts off one vine too many, and the only vine that's still wrapped around him is the one around his neck. And then he starts falling, and then they cut away. But the implication is enough.
Yeah, he had a Disney villain death. Yeah,
that was quite grim.
Yeah, the standard Disney villain death, fall.
Yeah, except that wasn't fall, that was hanging.
Yeah.
Right. Also, the villain in that was voiced by Brian Blessed.
Okay.
So, yeah. Good, powerful voice.
Yeah, it is. Man, I love how Brian Blessed was climbing Everest, and he stopped to save someone's life.
Brian Blessed's a weird motherfucker, because he's... How old is he now? He's got to be pushing 80, right?
Yeah, he might even be approaching his 90s.
He might be. And he insists that he wants to climb Everest again, but he wants to do it without the assistance of oxygen, because that's cheating.
Well, it's possible that he got the highest without oxygen so far.
Okay, just for what it's worth, guys, I'm tabbing out of this shit.
Yeah.
End credits. Guess what? The voices weren't done by the real people. Who could have guessed it?
Yeah, fair enough. So, this might have been the most irreverent episode based on the most irreverent... Oh, it was actually Hanna-Barbera. Okay, cool.
I'm surprised there wasn't more racism.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah, Hanna-Barbera. Great cartoons.
Questionable values.
They're not owned by a big corporation, so they don't put that little warning label in front of their cartoons nowadays.
Oh no.
No. Just insert Krillin from Team 4 Star. Oh no.
Oh no.
I can't even remember what he's reacting to for that.
Maybe just Popo or something, I don't know.
I don't think it was Popo, because he acts more...
He's got a bit more reverence for Popo, because Popo can fuck him up.
My favourite... I say this a lot for Team 4 Star. One of my favourite gags is while they're waiting for Goku and Gohan to come out the time chamber, and Vegeta calls Popo Black Man, and Popo just instantly responds with, okay, first of all, call me that again and we're going to have problems. Not 2 minutes later, he does it again, and Popo just sighs. They got the gag with Catman and Yajirobe just going, told you, was never a matter of if, but when.
Yeah.
Is that one of the better running gags, Yajirobe and Catman being a gay couple?
Yeah, I mean, they have the wedding as well, don't they? In the, was it the Trunks episode?
They had
in the Trunks special.
Maybe. They had sort of the weird breakup period in the Cooler movie.
Yeah, it might have been that one.
Where they had not Backtrap being like, that is weird, but I am not judging. Did they have... I don't think they show the wedding. I think they show the aftermath. Oh, you know what? It's been too long. We should do some Team 4 Star episodes for this.
Maybe so.
It's not a bad thing to do. Like, the only ones suffer from the same thing that early anything suffers from, and that is they've not quite got their footing. But they're still gems. They're still gems.
I feel like they get they get into the swing by at least the middle of the Saiyan saga. And even some of the early stuff has some fantastic gags like, are you a Yoshi?
It's not awful. It's watchable. It's just, if I had the choice, I'd always start from Frieza saga.
Usually. Or at least end of Vegeta.
I think they find their fitting just about the time when the Cybermen show up. I'd say they've got their footing pretty good by then.
We can literally grow Raditz.
It's such a fucking... I feel so bad for this fictional character of Raditz, because it completely erases the threat.
Yeah.
And I know that's sort of the point of Dragon Ball Z, like every villain makes the last villain seem like nothing, because that's how it works. Everyone's numbers just get bigger. It's kind of one of the core flaws with Dragon Ball Z. And hell, they point it out in a bridge, don't they, with, okay, either this scanner is broken or power levels are bullshit.
Yeah, and they actually address the fact that power levels are bullshit during Super. Like, a vastly underpowered person can beat a vastly overpowered person just by being more experienced and having better techniques.
Except because I'm a fan of One Plague of Gripes, he straight up says that they fall really quickly back into the problem of, hey, guess what? Everything's reset back to 0, but it's still about numbers.
Yep.
So yeah, this is how uninteresting Dumb and Dumber the cartoon was, is that I don't think we once actually spoke about Dumb and Dumber properly during the episode.
Hey, we brought up the Tbone Steak and Otto, the automobile.
I still think that's a joke that you've made up yourself, and that wasn't actually part of Dumb and Dumber.
Well, fair enough.
But yeah, we can sit here and wax lyrical about random bullshit for another 10 minutes, but it's a pretty natural stopping point, I'd say.
It is. Plus, ancillary bullshit that we have to spout can be saved for other episodes, so stay tuned, everyone.
Going forward, these bonus episodes are pretty much going to be decided on the spot, because I feel like that's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, so far it has been.
So yeah, keep an eye on the podcast, guys. We'll see you all again next time.
Bye-bye!